Have you ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels? You know, you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing. You're optimizing, you're planning, you're pushing forward, but that feeling of happiness or clarity still feels just out of reach? Well, in this look at Lara Knutzen's work, we're going to explore a pretty radical idea. What if the path forward isn't about doing more, but about doing less? About pausing?
So let's just dive right into the core principle here. More happiness doesn't come from doing more, but from more courage. And think about that for a second. We're not talking about the courage to climb a mountain or launch a new business. No, this is about a different kind of courage. It's the courage to actually stop, to be still, and to trust that maybe, just maybe, the answers are going to bubble up from somewhere totally new. And that leads us to this really interesting question, one that pretty much challenges everything we're taught about making progress. We always hear, just take the first step, right? But what if the first step isn't a step at all? What if the most powerful, game-changing thing you could possibly do is nothing? What if it's just to pause? This whole idea really starts from a feeling I think we all know. You're in the thick of it, right? Life is just moving and you're being carried along, but you've got this little nagging sense that something's off. Maybe it's too much of something, or maybe there's a big something missing. It's that moment you realize your usual go-to strategy, just work harder, just push through, it's just not going to cut it this time. And here it is. This is the fundamental shift. The path to happiness doesn't start out there with a new job or a new city or some big dramatic event. Nope, it starts right here, inside you, right now. And all it takes is a quiet, subtle shift in how you're seeing things, in your perception.
All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of this. Section 1 is all about perception, not action. And this is where we really start to see how this whole philosophy kind of turns traditional self-help right on its head. The author, Knutzen, is super clear on this point. She says, this is not a self-help guide. It is an invitation to see things differently. See, the goal here isn't to pile more onto your to-do list. It's literally to give you a new pair of glasses, a totally new lens to look at your life through. This chart just lays it out so perfectly. On one side, you've got the old way, which so many of us are stuck in. We're always trying to act, to optimize, to control every little outcome. But the new way, it's about taking a breath, it's about learning to perceive, to allow things to be as they are, and to find your own natural alignment from that place of calm. It's a huge shift.
So, what does this actually look like in practice? How do you do it? Well, it's kind of a four-stage flow. First, you just direct your attention to something, anything, without a goal, no agenda. From there, you just become aware. You notice your breathing, your body, the room you're in. Then comes the hard part for a lot of us. You just perceive, without judging it as good or bad. And if you can do that, the final step just happens. You start to notice what emerges. You don't create the direction, it reveals itself to you.
And when you start practicing this, when you get in the habit of perceiving instead of just acting, something really powerful starts to happen. It leads you to a state of being that brings us to our second section, finding your inner alignment.
So, what exactly is this alignment we're talking about? Well, the book calls it an inner feeling of harmony. And the key thing to get here is that it's not a finish line. It's not some achievement you unlock. It's a state of being, kind of like finding your center of gravity. It's that place where your next move feels natural and clear, not like you're forcing it. And when you're in that state, it just feels harmonious. Life starts to feel less like something you have to frantically control and more like a series of conscious choices you get to make. The goal isn't about speed anymore. It's not about how fast you're moving. It's about honesty. Are you being true to yourself?
So what does this mean day to day? Well, for one, it means you can let go of that crazy pressure to have all the answers. You can trust that you don't have to force a decision this very second. It's about just recognizing that one small thing you can move forward with. Really, it boils down to feeling a clear inner yes that guides you, instead of 1,000 frantic shoulds shouting at you.
But of course, life happens. It's not like you find this alignment and poof, you're good forever. That's just not how it works. Which brings us to our final and maybe most important section, the path continues. This isn't a one-time fix. It's an ongoing practice.
Yeah, we've got to be realistic here. Our old habits, our old ways of thinking and reacting, they don't just vanish into thin air. The book makes a great point. The old still has an effect. And why wouldn't it? For years, maybe decades, those patterns have served a purpose. They've protected you, they've kept you stable. So of course they're going to pop up again. That's totally normal.
Okay, and this next idea is probably one of the most powerful takeaways. When you feel that internal friction, that resistance, that feeling of being stuck, it is not a sign that you are failing or moving backward.
The book says, friction is not a step backward, it is a clue. It's just a little signpost, pointing you toward an area that needs a bit more of your gentle, non-judgmental awareness.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. This whole process, this whole idea, is really just an invitation to come back home to yourself. The question isn't, what should I do next? The question isn't, what's the next item on the to-do list? Instead, maybe try asking yourself this. Now that I've taken a moment to pause, to just perceive, what direction is revealing itself to me?